quick episode of Game My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight?
Fish boy, Stefan JD.
Aquaman, Dylan Ferguson.
That was good. That was good. And I will introduce what we're going to be talking about tonight because this is my pick. Because I like Aquaman. We are probably reading one of the best Aquaman New 52 stories because it's a Justice League story, and you can't go wrong with Justice League. We are going to be talking about Aquaman, Throne of Atlantis, which came out in 2012, 2013, and it runs in a few issues in Aquaman, a few issues in Justice League, so you would have had to buy both to read it, which could be very annoying. So,
yep.
And it's also an animated film of this too, which I have never watched for some reason.
It looked a lot different from the source material whenever I checked out just little clips of it.
Yeah,
I always wanted to see it.
It feels like part of the course for DC. They always change their animated movies to make them more edgy or something. I don't know why.
And also, the Aquaman movie in 2018 that we got is a loose adaptation of the story arc also, which I thought was cool. For those that, there's things in here that hinted right along.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, so I'm the only guy sitting here who hasn't seen Aquaman yet.
Good movie. And if you are listening to this, if you haven't listened to our other Aquaman episode, you should, because it'll give you a little bit more basics of Aquaman and what's all going on. Because we'll briefly touch on it, but not as detailed as we did in that episode. So please go listen to that first. All right. First, I want to start out with how the whole Throne of Atlantis opens up with the prelude in Aquaman 14, which I really love that cover. I don't care about Orm. I don't like Orm, but for some reason, Orm on the cover of that book where he's just standing there with a trident and the sharks in the background just looks fucking awesome.
Yes.
Okay, I can't be the only one.
I mean, yeah, he looks cool. I like his outfit.
I'm sorry, but Orm was a badass this whole entire comic, so
yeah.
I don't know. You kind of had to really sway me to not like Orm at all.
Yeah.
Orm is one of those characters that I feel that I didn't really know a lot of. I mean, he's in the Aquaman movie for those that have seen it, and I know who he was because he's in a lot of old issues that I'd ever read. But this is I felt this is a very good story to kind of introduce you to the character and really it puts Aquaman and the Justice League in a pretty big fight, which I thought was just a great story. But just like the way the story starts off, it gives you a reason to why the Atlanteans hate the humans besides pollution and everything else. But it starts off with in 1820, and I just like that you see some people, it looks like they're hunting Moby Dick, and they're shooting hooks, and they're trying to kill this monster, and then you see a man in the water. And it's cool how they do it, how they end up pulling this guy up, and you find out that the guy they're pulling up, it's not a guy, it's an Atlantean, and they're trying to kill him. I find that super cool. It's
just a tad.
This is his hatred.
Yeah.
And it turns out they killed the queen, and now they're trying to kill the king of the Atlanteans, which doesn't work out so well for them. So
I thought at first this was Aquaman, so I was like, what? Aquaman's just going to die in the first issue or this issue? I was so confused. I didn't look at the timeline.
You didn't look at the 1820 or the fact that they're on an old ship and not on a cruise liner or something?
No, nothing.
Well, if you remember correctly, this was your idea for us to read an Aquaman book after we did Trent.
I think we both agreed on it.
We did agree. That's the part we both agreed.
Trench was really good. This was a little bit better than it. Not as good as Trench, but it's almost there.
I mean, on one of the first page, you have what you love. You have Aquaman standing there or swimming in the water, talking to fish. I guess it's a dumb piece of art, but
you know what? There's nothing wrong with talking to fish.
I mean, there's one panel in here that kind of introduces Black Manta to the Suicide Squad, which has to do with the other story arc that we're not really going to be touching on here too much. But I did think it was cool how they show Black Manta and they show you how badass he is even without his armor when it comes to a regular person. Where he fucks up the guy and drowns him in the toilet and... it's just brutal.
Yeah.
He's a very big, scary black man. Oh.
We might have talked about that story at some point, but it's just, I mean, I thought that was cool, and how it introduces that, he's going to join the Suicide Squad, which doesn't mean anything to this book at all, but I just thought it was a cool nudge right there.
Yeah, it feels like everyone's been in the Suicide Squad at some point, so kind of not surprised. It's almost like the X-Men in a way. It's like some people have joined the X-Men and left.
Yeah, but that's a little different. Those are heroes, not bad guys.
A little bit.
Okay, we're not going to go down there right now. We're not going to go down that road that I was about to start arguing with you about. So, like, even like when you have like the first time you have Aquaman and Orm interacting in this is because he had asked the fish to go tell Orm to go meet at this wreckage of the ship that we had seen earlier from 1820, which had to do with the king being killed, and their whole interaction. Because again, in the story we haven't talked about, there were relics that were stolen, and Aquaman is trying to figure out who stole these relics and why. And he thought first maybe it was Orm. Spoiler alert, it wasn't Orm. But I just thought that was kind of cool. Like all their interactions between Orm and Aquaman I thought are really good.
If I wanted your relic, I just would have asked you, brother.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I think because in the movie, doesn't he have like different reasons to go against Aquaman? I feel like in this one, he's really not being a bad guy. He's just not being a good guy. Like he doesn't want to ruin Atlantis. He's just taking over the job from Aquaman who left.
It's 50-50. Like they go into it, but like Orm is being a bad guy, but he's not, like Mike said, he's not the bad guy. He's doing what he thinks is right.
Right.
Also, the background that we haven't mentioned yet is that Aquaman, after he finds out he's Aquaman, he finds Atlantean, he goes down and he's in Atlantis at one point for a little while after his father is killed. And he lives down there and he is the king. Then he decides after a while to leave.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be the king. And then he gives
the throne back to Orm.
Because who doesn't want to be, rich and famous and rule fish people?
Yep. And get with Mira.
And then
mermaids.
Yeah.
And I do love the scene near the end, the cliffhanger at the end of this first book, is you see somebody is at where the trench was sealed, and they hit it with a trident, breaking it open, and you just see the evil trench-looking creature starting to swim out, and I just oh fuck when I saw that the first time.
Well, and it's so creepy when you just have that unnamed protagonist too, just being you're mine. It's whoa, what?
Yeah, you don't know. When you first see it, you think Orm is the one that broke it open. You don't really know what's going on because that's what you're led to assume.
Well, and to think that it's there's just one dude who's just okay, I'm gonna go move this giant rock that Aquaman, who has super strength, just chucked out of the fucking ocean bed.
I don't know. I think it was weird that they were still alive because they had to have been eating each other or something. Because wasn't the original reason why those monsters came out of the trench just because they were starving?
Yes.
I got 2 words for you: comic books.
No, but yeah, see, that's the thing, though.
Who needs continuity?
I just kind of wish they had put a line in there or something, or showed that they'd been eating each other or something, because that's probably what they had to resort to.
Well, you never heard anything about the queen or the king, so...
King's in this.
Was he in it? Oh,
yeah, he's in it later on.
Yep.
I was going to say, maybe that was the issue that you missed.
Shh, they don't need to know that. Shh. I read the whole thing, guys. I read the whole thing.
But again, when you get into the first Justice League book, and it kind of opens up what reminded me of the movie also, where you have a scene where you have a battle crew or a airship. What the hell are they called? Big long ships, aircraft, and they launched the missile, but they launched the missiles into the ocean, and they hit an Atlantean city, which is what starts this whole conflict, which I also want to say would start the conflict in the 2018 movie, if I remember correctly, but it's been a while.
They were hacked.
They were hacked. Were they? Yeah, they were hacked, but they don't know. They just all of a sudden the bombs go off. They're like, well, I guess that was an accident. It's there's nothing down there anyway. And Stefan, you gotta agree with me. You did like that scene when they in this Justice League where they have Wonder Woman and Superman, Clark Kent, where he shows Wonder Woman, hey, if you just put glasses on and you just ruffle up your hair and wear normal clothes, you can go and be normal. Like, I know you had to like that scene.
See, yeah, that's the comic book part of it where it's like he's showing her the ways around it. But then he also kind of does explain too, like, you know, it's just because they're so unassuming to think that Superman would dress up like a regular guy and walk around among them. They think you're just Superman 24/7 or Wonder Woman 24/7. So he goes a little bit more in depth, but yeah, he does do the glasses thing, which was funny.
I like that was a very touching scene because I want to say in the New 52, Wonder Woman and Superman do get together, I think, for a while or something. I want to say there's even like 4 trades where they are together.
Yep, they're like really briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you had like the new birth of like New 52 Superman, then there was like the 13 issues of that, and then like they redid it again.
Okay,
and they weren't together anymore.
I know there is a book because I bought one of the trades for my wife where they're together, but I never read it.
So yeah, if anyone wants to know, I hate it most of New 52 if I haven't said it already on the show. So that's like the whole Superman thing. I hate this Superman, the whole Wonder Woman in this. She's okay.
I like this Batman. This Batman was good.
Yeah, they didn't really change too much of Batman in New 52. I think there was like 1 or 2 things they changed, but nothing. It's the same Batman basically.
I like all the characters in this in New 52. I like New 52 a lot. But then again, I also have no history before because I didn't really read comics. So New 52 is when I started reading a lot of my stories. So I wasn't affected like how you were.
Well, we're going to fix that, Mike.
You need some Bob Kane, sir.
Yeah.
But and then like it goes to a scene where you have Batman chasing after a boat with Scarecrow baddies, I guess, wearing like penguin helmets. I really thought they were penguin henchmen, but they're Scarecrow henchmen.
Well, it's like they're wearing like the like mask from like something that like would be in Bloodborne, for instance. Yeah.
You mean Plague Mask? That would be in real life.
Whatever they're called, like the circus.
They're not. They're not that type of mask, I don't think.
Yeah, like the gas masks. I don't know. I don't know what they are.
They're just bird masks. They look like they have a bird head with a beak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do like how on point he is, though, that he's just chatting with Aquaman or whoever, Cyborg, and he just like ejects out of the bat boat and just flies right on the boat and starts kicking their asses while still talking.
Boat.
Yeah.
While still talking to Cyborg, and then you have Aquaman who bursts out of the water, stops the boat, and he's like, "Well, I didn't need your help, Aquaman, but sure, thanks." Like,
how many times have we heard Batman say that before? Good God.
I didn't need your help. I am the night.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was born into the darkness. How about that?
Okay. That was good.
Molded by it.
I hate that movie, by the way. But and of course, I don't know. Every time I see Mara drawn in this comic, maybe that's why I like this comic so much. I just love her. I love the way they draw Mara.
Mm-hmm.
So she does look really good.
Yeah, and she shows up, and it's like everything about her. It's just great.
Yeah, I like her powers. She's got cool powers.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this kind of made it weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about that. So one of the things that Atlantis does, because they have to retaliate for the missile that almost killed their city and killed all of them, is they start creating these shock waves and these tsunamis that come and start wreaking havoc on the city. So like in Gotham City, people, like hundreds of people, are drowning because of these tsunamis that just hit it immediately. And one of the things Mira does is she uses her like water powers to stop some of it from smashing into the buildings and stuff.
She tried to push it back into the ocean.
Yeah, so she's like on another level with her powers. She's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, they really do show you later how powerful she is. And as you start seeing the city get attacked and the water just start flooding, I mean, you see they're sending all the boat back up. Like, it is pretty awesome how you just see everything that's happening with the water just flooding into the city and everybody's dying.
As morbid and dark as that is,
it looks cool. The drawings are really cool and
super fucking cool.
And they're saving people. Like, you have Superman and Wonder Woman catching an aircraft carrier and trying to stop it. Wonder Woman turning the water into steam. And this is also when Volko, who we hadn't mentioned, who showed up a little earlier in in this comic where he jumps into the water. He shows up as he rescues Lois Lane.
Mm-hmm. Who looks my favorite weird.
My favorite line is near the end when Aquaman's like, "My God, they're following the Atlantean war plans." And Batman's, "How do you know that?" Because I wrote them. I mean, to me, I like that, because then it kind of shows you that it shows you more how intelligent Aquaman is too, as a king and as a general, as a fighter. Like, I don't know, I like the fact that this book kind of really glorifies Aquaman when it comes to his power with the Justice League. He's not just that stupid fish guy, like maybe in a show called The Boys, where you have a stupid fish guy in the team. Yeah, it's a lot more. I couldn't finish that show, but this book really does a good job. I just couldn't do it. I got halfway through and I just could not finish it.
It's worth it. Finish it.
Yeah, it's a good show. But no, yeah, that's one of the other things that Aquaman brings up when he's traveling with Batman, is that the Atlantean assassins try to kill Batman. They don't know that Aquaman's there. And he's like, "Why would they try to kill me?" And Aquaman says, "Because, of course, obviously, you were one of the people that I knew I had to kill if I ever caused any war on land," which was pretty interesting. But I mean, everyone knows you got to kill Batman first.
But also, when you got to look at this world, they didn't even know Batman was real at one time. Like, he was just a myth to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because if we didn't talk about in the first Justice League story, which we'll have to talk about someday, it does mention, it brings that up, how people didn't realize they were real. Same as like Aquaman. They they make fun of him in that first story where people are still not completely aware of these superheroes.
Oh yeah, Atlantis isn't real, is it?
But they're gonna touch way on that here in a minute, though, when we get there.
I mean, they do a good job of showing what's going on. Where you have Batman and Aquaman in Gotham, you have Wonder Woman and Superman in I want to say Metropolis. You also have Boston is getting flooded too. So to have a real city get flooded also. And, they do a lot more good job. Boston. Like, they show Mara fighting off the water where she ends up getting a nosebleed, which reminded me of Stranger Things, because she overdraws herself trying to save people, and then they just show, she's just saying all their bodies, just so many bodies down there from the flooding, because they're, trying to, it's a great first strike idea, just flood the frickin' cities and then attack.
Yeah, try to weaken them down in their numbers and everything.
I mean, I also like it when Superman finds Volko and he does the X-ray thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not sure he has lungs."
Well, and I had a feeling as soon as Volko, like, the body washed up on the beach, he's like, "Things aren't okay. I must go straight into the ocean." Like, what the fuck? Okay, all right. Zoom. I must go to my people.
Well, this makes sense. I mean, well, he put this whole plan in motion. Spoiler alert. But that plays a part in this. But, okay, I do got to ask you, Stefan, do you have a problem with Wonder Woman's costume in New 52, or do you like it? I personally like it.
I don't like it.
Okay, I figured that was coming.
What about you, Dylan?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, just me.
She's too feminine.
I don't know I think it's just the colors mostly. I dig the gold better than the silver.
I like the silver.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess this is my Wonder Woman then. I like the silver better. So, I don't know. I think she's a badass. Like, when she pulls her sword to Volko after he just one punch knocks Superman right into a wall. I mean, and she's like, "Take a swing again," and so do I. And she's just a badass.
I mean, yeah, like, I like the character. I just don't like the costume. Like, her character's pretty cool, though. She's tough.
Badass.
Yeah. But I don't know. The way I've always honestly seen Amazonians, like, if there was going to be a real Wonder Woman in the real world, like if they try to do a realistic take on it, she would probably be like 7 feet tall, is the way I see it. Like, she would be, and she'd be buff, muscular, like the Hulk or something. Like, that's kind of the way I see them. But of course, that would never happen. It's happened in one comic book, I think.
Are you thinking more like Futurama snoo there, bud?
Yeah, snoo.
I mean, I'm just thinking of She-Hulk, and this is not She-Hulk, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I don't like snoo. Sorry.
No, you're not. And then you have a part where you have Aquaman and Batman ride together in the Batboat. And this is the part where you're talking about where they try to blow up the Batboat to kill Batman. And this is where he mentions about how he had set it up to have him killed, because that wasn't brought up earlier. And what are your thoughts on Cyborg? Like, Cyborg is one of those characters that I don't know very well, because I've never read a lot of DC books until until I started reading some of this. So I read this New 52 stuff. Like, is he someone that you have any type of like connection to?
There's a lot of different variations on like writers how they've written Cyborg or what they've done with him. Early 90s Cyborg, there was a story where it started talking about how he was becoming more machine than human, and like the program within him was trying to make him more machine. And I think there's even a time where like the program inside of him starts to kidnap Teen Titans or something, and like the Justice League and the Titans get into like arguments on how to save them. So there's that Cyborg that I appreciated from the 90s. The one that I think recently I like the most is the one that's on what's that show called? Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that Cyborg is probably the best Cyborg take I've ever seen in live action. I didn't like the one in the movie The Justice League.
Oh, and I have a real quick question for you. Since we're recording this, since the time that anyone's listening to it, it's going to be after April. So did you like that April 3rd, 2020 Cyber movie we got that was coming out? Nothing? Oh.
I have yet to go see it, Mike. I made plans to. I've made reservations for tickets this weekend.
The joke is it never came out on April 3rd. It got canceled a long time ago. Nobody jumped on my joke. All right. So I'm just going to keep going. That was a joke. We never get in the movie.
I was getting I'm like, what are you talking about? I never even heard about this.
I thought Stefan would know, but he didn't.
No, I was just trying to like allude to. I mean, I was getting what you were saying, but you said April 3rd, so I was also like, oh, Resident Evil 3 remake.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
But it made me think of that.
Which looks fan-freaking-tastic, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that plenty in a couple days. I mean, we did, months ago. But when they introduce Vulko, because they bring, after Wonder Woman and Superman run into Vulko, they bring him up to the Watchtower where Cyborg's at, and that's when Aquaman meets up with Vulko again, and it kind of like goes through a little thing where he's like, oh, he's my royal advisor, and it mentions more about their history together.
He was my mother's servant. He serves me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want to say like something like, didn't Vulko serve under Aquaman while he was king, and then now he still wants him to be king?
Yeah, he gets exiled after Aquaman leaves. He was exiled because he had served Aquaman, and he had served Aquaman's mother, Nicole Kidman, before that. So then they wanted him gone.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of like a guy
to his flounder. I mean, what?
God.
Yeah, he's kind of like a guy that like has good intentions, but he's doing it all the wrong way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it also shows you another brief scene of the trench monsters swimming closer and closer to come up to the people. I love everything about the trench. I am a huge fan of these characters. They're not a character, but as them as an alien creature, they're just badass and cool.
Yeah, and also the fact that like the Atlanteans and Aquaman, they're so deep into the ocean, these monsters are, that even they're like they have no idea of them till they discover them. And obviously have to close the trench, which we read earlier, but I think it's cool that they're that alien. But yeah.
Well, and they're gonna get into the whole the trench are controlled by the Trident that was underneath the whole entire tomb, from the others. But
oh yeah.
Well, it's super cool because they're like, okay, so these they're controlled by the dead king, which we haven't even gotten to yet. But Atlantis was sunk how many thousands of years ago before men and before current Atlantis? So they're probably going to have no fucking clue who the trench even are at this point.
No, nobody really knows, which I thought is cool how they did that. And even the scene where like King Orm first shows up again, where he climbs out of the water, gets onto a boat, and just starts like almost killing people, asking them where is the king. And the whole time because he thinks Aquaman, when he went up to the surface, he's the king of the surface world, which I thought was very interesting. And they have no idea what we're talking about. Like, are you talking about the president? Like, they're just confused, which I thought was cool. He's like, Orm thinks he's ruling them. And I thought that was a very interesting way they did that.
Yeah, because why would he give up being king down below when he can rule above? But of course, Aquaman's just living among us, or humans. He's not a king.
No, and then you have Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman who show up who want to just take Orm with him, and Aquaman trying to convince Orm, send down the army, give up, come with me, because you have to pay for the crimes. You just flooded 3 different cities and killed hundreds of people. You can't just, or thousands of people. You're not just walking away.
Right.
And I thought that was cool too. Like and then all of a sudden he grabs Batman, starts like choking him out because they try to fight like that. Yeah, that was badass to me. I can't be the only one who thought that was badass.
Well, and I loved it because like whenever everybody just jumps in, they're just like, okay, you had your chance. And this whole entire time, he's just trying to explain like, hey, these guys don't even understand that we're real. They think I'm just a normal guy. They don't know I'm Atlantean. They don't even know what Atlantis is. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking great because you have like that one brief moment of like, okay, we're talking guy to guy here instead of just, I'm going to rip your fucking throat out. And then this all could have been avoided. This all literally could have been avoided.
Yeah, Orm's a very hot-headed type villain, we should say. He doesn't really want to listen to reason or believe anything his brother's telling him, which doesn't really make any sense because why would he want to lie to him?
Because he's Ocean Master and Ocean Master never listens.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, that's accurate. Plus, I mean, it's the idea that his brother, who should be king, gave it up, and he can't understand why he would give up something, such a prestigious, ability role just to be a nobody, just to be a guy talking to fish. Like, I think that's part of it.
Yeah, and
why would you give up royalty to go be a fisherman's son?
And there's a lot of splash pages in here about that too, where it shows that how big the Atlantean army is. It's just massive.
Oof. I love that 2-page spread that's later on whenever everybody's just kind of clashing.
I think Orm says it is time for war. And then
when they finally start rising, because it's right after Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. I want to say Superman, and they're all fighting Ocean Master. But I like it like Aquaman goes toe to toe with all 3 of them, and he takes out Superman. He takes out Wonder Woman pretty like with a few hits, and I thought that was pretty damn cool. Where you see them fighting, and he's beating them. Batman just gets shocked by Orm, and that's the end of him. But like you actually get to see them going toe to toe. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is that he can take every single one of them out without a problem, single-handedly.
See, that's why Stefan didn't like this book.
Because he beat Batman's ass? I mean, sorry.
Superman. Stefan likes Superman more than Batman, I want to say, right?
Oh, you like Underoos, bud?
No, he's joking.
I'm not joking. I thought you liked Superman more.
No, I like them both equally, honestly. Okay. I really don't have a lot of, like, it depends on who's writing them.
Now, how about the Question or Superman?
Yeah, see, there you go. Okay. The question wins every time. I love the question.
I'm biased. I love my Batman. I'll never give up on my Batman. Bruce is my boy.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to choose, I would choose Batman.
Bruce.
But everything about this fight, where you have the Atlantean army coming up, attacking Wonder Woman, Superman 2 after Aquaman had his little skirmish. He's fighting Orm. Batman's just unconscious laying somewhere. And like just them fighting is just so cool to see how, and I mean, in the end, Orm using his crown and his trident to control the oceans and the lightning, I guess. He takes out everybody. He ends up defeating Aquaman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and ends up just beating the shit out of them, and then seals them in like a water tube, puts them inside cocoons, and sends them down under.
To the trench. Doesn't Aquaman say something about like there's like some sort of ooze or something that kind of got on him, and that's what gave them a paralysis, or like that's why later. They passed out? Yeah.
No, they
Did
just
he send him to the trench, or he sent him to the dark water? I thought it was dark water.
It's the trench.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's the dark water. I think it's near the trench. It's down in that area. But what happened? They get electrocuted, and that's what knocks him out. He does mention the paralyzed when he's swimming underneath, and they fight some of the trench people. He mentions about them being paralyzed and watch out for them, their bites.
Oh shit! Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of where we get the like a little bit more hint to actually what's going on, because on the walls of the trench, kind of like cavemen, there's these little like drawings or whatever, or Atlantean language and hieroglyphics. and Batman's trying to see through the egg that he's in, the cocoon, and he's trying to see like what's going on. And apparently whoever has this specific type of scepter can control the trench monsters. And that's when Aquaman starts to think, well, either my brother has it or somebody else does.
It's the scepter from the other story that we didn't read, which we might, and that's the one where it's the old king scepter from a long time ago, the original king of Atlantis.
Yeah, the one that was murdered.
So yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Not in the story arc. That's later. I can tell you all about it if you don't want me to. So.
Oh God, no! Next episode, man. I'm already reading it. I'm right with you.
Stefan, I think he's done with Aquaman after this. So. Got enough of Aquaman. But what I do want to say is, as you were mentioning, that they're swimming down there, and because Aquaman comes to 2 before the rest of them do, and that's when he wakes up Batman, or he finds Batman, but he knows that he can't break because Batman's about to just cut open the shell, and he's like, "Yeah, don't do that, or you're gonna be dead," because of the pressure of how deep they're under. He won't be able to survive.
Yeah, just carries him around this giant egg. He just carries it around.
Could you imagine Aquaman just baby Bjorning fucking Batman, just like, I've got you, bro.
What we didn't mention that's going on during this time is you also have Cyborg, who's trying to get he's also trying to get Dr. Shin, but he's also trying to get Dr. Shin, and Atlantis assassins are trying to kill him. You do get some cool scenes of them fighting, and then Cyborg, gets a reading that Batman is underwater somewhere deep, and there's a little bit of talk back and forth how he gives up his other lung to go even more robot so he can swim, so he can be underwater and not die.
Right.
I thought that was cool. And you had the part where he summons a bunch of extra help for the Justice League, that like Black Lightning, Vixen, Firestorm, right?
Shazam!
Yeah, Firestorm.
Hawkman, who's a fucking badass in this comic, but we're not going to talk too much about
Hawkman's always a badass. You don't even gotta justify that.
But I mean, it is cool how they have that, and they have them fighting Orm, because the regular Justice League is all fucked up at this moment, and Flash is off. They do make one comment about Flash fighting gorillas, which we need to find that arc and read, because I know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
that is cool. And
yes, that's pretty cool. I honestly don't like Firestorm either, though. I gotta be honest. I don't like this design. I don't like the way that he comes together, because doesn't have to be like 2 people or something.
Yeah, he's 2 people in this. I mean, just like in the Flash show, for those that have seen the show.
I don't like any of that. I think it's lame.
Sorry, amazing.
Sorry, Firestorm fans out there. Yeah,
are there really Firestorm fans out there?
Probably not.
No.
I'm actually kind of curious where his first appearance was and how much it's worth.
It's pretty. I looked it up before. It's an old book. I looked it up. Yeah, I looked up a lot of like C-list and D-list characters to try to find cheap first appearances.
Firestorm the Nuclear Man #1 was March 1978.
I'm not that old. I feel like I've seen it before, but I didn't buy it.
Yeah, that was his first appearance. So yeah.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk too much about Firestorm, because fuck Firestorm. But they have like Aquaman and Batman swimming underneath the water. Okay. That's when you run into, it does look funny seeing Aquaman carry the coffin, Batman's coffin around. But that's when you find Superman and Wonder Woman inside the trench, because they're about to be fed to all the piranha-looking thingies. And I thought that was cool. Good job. That's when Mara and Cyborg boom tube down there, and they show up. And again, Mara just kicks fucking ass. Again.
Yeah, she's like the unsung hero, actually, of this whole thing, because even though Aquaman, he does fighting and stuff, he's not really, I don't know, he's just trying to be more of a diplomat or something through the whole story, whereas Mira, king, whereas Mira, she's just kicking ass left and right.
She does. She kicks a lot of ass in this comic.
Well, and that's kind of her role, is to make sure he's safe. He has what he needs to rule to be okay. So,
which they don't discuss in this comic, in the story arc, why she's like she is, but that'll come down later on. But I do like it when the Trench show up and the Trench start battling Orm. Because at this point in the book, everyone thinks it was Orm that freed the Trench monsters, and then you see them fighting his soldiers, and you realize it wasn't him. So I thought that was good. And this is when Vulko finally starts to turn, beats the shit out of Dr. Shin, pulls out the trident that's been missing this whole time, and then you realize they were all betrayed by Vulko.
Right. Who I think tries to kill Dr. Shin at one point too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, because Dr. Shin betrayed Aquaman all those years ago, and he blames, I want to say he blames Dr. Shin for something partly what to do with Aquaman's father's death. I want to say that's covering a different story arc, but...
Yeah. He was in the first volume we read where he didn't want... Aquaman didn't really want his help to understand any of the creatures from the trench, but apparently Dr. Shin is like the only human on Earth who's studied the most about the Atlanteans. So he knows all about their physicalities and flaws and everything, but he kind of apparently betrayed Aquaman.
I just think Shin's a piece of shit to begin with.
Yeah.
I like him. He's creepy. He's weird. He looks funny. And those glasses, I want to punch him in the face.
And he smells too.
Probably like fish.
Yep.
And it's Justice League 17 that has one of the splash pages you're talking about, where it has a bunch of the other Justice League members, the backup ones fighting Orm's army, which just looks, I mean, they do some great artwork in this book of all the characters. I mean, there's just some really badass scenes.
Yeah,
everybody fighting.
They do not hold back on the splash pages. Like, it really comes out that they want to show all the war that's about to happen if these people don't figure it out between what's going on in the drama.
Yeah, and it is awesome. And this, I mean, and now you have Aquaman and everyone, like they made peace with each other. They understood and was trying to do, and they're not, I don't think they completely trust him as much still, but they're working together to fight Orm, and this is when they all show back up and start kicking ass and taking names.
Well, and when it happens, it fucking happens. It just bam. Out of nowhere, everybody's fucked. We're all in Boston. Let's have a fucking Donnybrook and throw down.
Yeah, and I want to say too that if I remember correctly, this Superman in New 52 was a little bit depowered from the Invincible one that we all know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit weaker.
Yeah, he's a little bit weaker. So that's probably the only good plus I'll give him, which is why him being incapacitated in some way by the Atlanteans is kind of a cool thing, I guess.
I mean, it was nice to see him kind of, squirm a little bit.
I just love the page when you see Aquaman punch Orm right across the face and just fracture the crown, and then they're like kill Aquaman. He grabs the trident that Orm had, and he says, I think Orm has his own trident. He says, I am your king. And it's just a badass looking scene when all the Atlanteans just go, all right, you're right, he's king. And
what do we do with the king Orm?
Yeah, that's coming. But then again, you have another awesome freaking splash page where you have the Justice League and the Atlanteans all fighting the trench. Even Orm is fighting the trench with them because, again, they all have a common enemy. And this is when they find out that Vulko was the one who betrayed Aquaman and released the trench.
So hypothetical, real quick. What do you think would have happened if there was an all-way, three-way war? What if it actually happened?
The trench, the Atlanteans, and the humans?
Humans.
What
do you think would have happened? I honestly think the trench would have took over. I think it would have just kind of been everybody's fucked.
Well, it depends how much they can replicate themselves, or make more of them, and how quickly they can to keep fighting. So
I want to say that there would probably be heavy casualties. They'd probably lose a lot of cities that were near the ocean and a lot of people. That would be heavy casualty.
I think
count.
Minnesota would be fine. They wouldn't be very good to me.
I think underneath it all the
you'd be dead in Arizona. They just come right out of the water and eat you.
Shit, we'd be what water? You mean the dirt that tries to accumulate moisture sometimes?
They wouldn't even make it here. They'd die. They'd dry out. Oh, we should mention too, that's one of their weaknesses. If they dry out too much, they just die. So yeah, they wouldn't make it to Arizona.
Not even close. We'd be good, bud.
Yep. We would be totally fine.
Oh, hey, what's that? Fish.
But we'd all probably be
mountain.
Yeah, we'd all probably be dead of the virus here, though,
Hey, we're self-quarantining. We're good.
But you have as he grabs the trident, the one that Volko used, he's able to summon the trench back, send them back into the ocean, and that's when King Orm, because Orm had thought he yielded the throne to Aquaman. He thought, okay, I surrender to you, it's over, and doesn't realize you're under arrest. And then he goes with Superman and Wonder Woman, and he gets put in Belle Reve in prison, and he's like upset because he's not in water, he's on Earth or on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Which is always the thing about like superhero movies and any of those movies is like all the bad guys we know in the comic books, they go to like Ravencroft prison or something. But always in the movies, the bad guy has to die at the end. I don't get why. Just put him in a prison.
Closure.
Yeah.
Prison's not really closure.
Yeah, just they don't have to die every time, you know?
Also in movies was I think a lot of the idea that characters wouldn't come back, that you would use them either one time, there's one movie, you're not going to do another movie with the same character, so you want to get rid of that character, I guess.
Well, I get it, but also like if like what we've seen recently, like with Spider-Man Homecoming and all that, apparently they're going to try to do a Sinister Six thing, maybe.
Sure they are.
They got,
finally.
Remember Michael Keaton's character returns as the Vulture in the second one with Mysterio when they're both in prison?
I've not seen the second one yet, so.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Spoilers.
You're good, bud. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my Carnage movie, so.
Unfortunately.
Hey, no, you Carnage is.
So I guess, hey, Stefan, I found someone to read Maximum Carnage with me on the show.
Oh God, it's not a good comic.
Yes,
sorry.
It's not. I know it's not.
Good guy. We'll talk about it in another episode. But so I kind of want to wrap up where this arc, and after Orm gets arrested, you have Aquaman who ends up going back into the ocean to go back to Atlantis. I do like that scene, and there's your Aqua Dog standing with Mara as Aquaman jumps into the water.
Fuck that dog.
And you do have a brief, like, they do a little, like, stinger saying how they're putting the Suicide Squad. So I can't remember what arc goes next in Justice League. I've read the whole thing, but it's been years. But the Forever Evil arc, we are definitely going to have to read on this show, especially if you've never read it before.
I've never read it, so
really
I'm down.
Good. Before we get to that, I kind of want, there's one last issue of the story just to wrap up, which I didn't think was very good, the epilogue, which is Aquaman has been king now for, it doesn't say how long, but you can tell he's been down there for a little bit. Have some whalers who have Atlantis weaponry, and he ends up going on their boat and kicking their asses because they're killing whales. And I mean, it was kind of cool, and it shows him commanding, the army and how people don't trust him. The army doesn't really trust him. The humans don't trust him because of what happened. I mean, that's some kind of cool stuff, but I didn't really care for it. And then it also shows you a villain that's really fucking stupid, that's after this arc, that I can't stand. I don't even remember his name, but he's in a freaking like underwater suit, and it's dumb as fuck. We're not reading that art. So, and it ends with another, he's talking to fish, and he says, I won't fail you again, to the fish, a whole splash page of just fish he's talking to.
The fish are like, dirt?
And the bear gets arrested. And then it says the king has awoken, and that has to do with another story arc that we're not discussing right now, or do we need to discuss?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, not now. So, no, I mean, I really wanted to read the story because after we read The Trench, I went through and read up to I got to issue 28 of Aquaman of the New 52 run before I had enough. So I just couldn't do it anymore.
I don't know.
I fell off for now.
I might go the distance. I might try to do all 11 volumes.
Good.
Doesn't it go up to 70 or something? It's like a high.
No, 52.
52?
It's a new 52. Everything goes to 52.
I thought they still continued it afterwards, after the year.
They ended it with Rebirth and went to Rebirth.
Oh, well, that goes to show
Rebirth was
I don't
weird.
give a shit about any of this. I didn't like New 52.
So tell me how New 52 hurts you. Show me in the doll where New 52 hurts you, please.
Right here.
Nothing.
Ooh, that's a bad spot, JD.
And here.
For those that don't know, there's no video. We can't tell.
Hey,
nor do I want to know.
Yeah.
That is his no square. Sorry.
Yeah.
There is some bad art in some of the later Justice League books.
Yeah.
And let's not split hairs here. New 52 kind of really hurt DC a lot. I think so, at least. Not at first. Not at first. It freaking was great.
Well, let's also mention the fact that as of this recording, it was like a week or two ago, Dan Didio did get fired and released from DC as editor-in-chief.
Yeah,
so
it'll be a while by the time they hear this story. So
yeah, but it's just like he's the guy who basically made the key decisions, including New 52 for the past 11 years. And, most comic book readers would agree that this was a long overdue thing and nobody liked any of those choices. And I guess Jim Lee's kind of holding the spot fresh right now. I don't know if he's doing his job and Dan Didio's job, but yeah, that's what's going on.
Another conversation,
but
it's not. It's a weird situation.
Yeah,
we need to forever you. Okay, that about wraps it up. With I think what we want to say about Throne of Atlantis. I think we should go to shelf or box.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'll go first. We'll start with a nice positive thing. I mean, obviously, this was my pick. It's going on the shelf. I read this years ago when I was going through reading all the Justice League stories, the whole New 52 run, and I really liked it then. I read it twice, actually, in this time preparing for the episode. I just really enjoyed it, and I had to read it again, and I still think it is an amazing story. I mean, yes, we spoil it. Yes, we talk about it, but it's a comic. Go read it. It's worth it. It's a little annoying because it jumps between Aquaman and Justice League, so you have to jump back and forth depending on how you're reading this. From the sound of it, the DCU app isn't the friendliest, and the way that I read it isn't the friendliest either. And there is no trade of it, I want to say, you can buy, not of just this, which is stupid.
Yeah.
There's a volume 3 of it, yeah.
Yeah, you could buy Throne of Atlantis, but I don't think it includes the Justice League issues, so I think you'd be lost.
You need that to finish this.
I could be wrong, but I don't think it does. I really don't think it does.
I don't think it does either. I'm pretty sure you're not wrong. But it's good. It's going on my shelf. I'm really glad that we got to do it on here. There probably won't be any more Aquaman stories for a little while because I think we're Aquaman out at the moment. But then, there might be more at the time when you're listening to this. Who knows? And Dylan, how about you?
I give this 2 blubs way up. Great stuff. It's going on the shelf. It was good. It really was. I love the fact that it tied Justice League all together. I love the fact that it brought the reserve members in. I like the fact that Cyborg had his own bit to it. That it was all over the place. It was great. It was good. Orm was a fucking badass, even though he was the bad guy this whole entire time. Vulcan, I didn't even see that coming. I don't like Aquaman. I really don't. In the other podcast, I even said it. He is just a dude who talks to fucking fish. Come on. But reading these with you guys has kind of opened my eyes. Aquaman's a fucking badass. He really is. I like Aquaman now. I really do. I think we should read the next one. I'm psyched. Let's do it. I've been reading it already. It's really good. If you like Aquaman, totally worth it. Just keep going. But
there's a couple arcs not worth reading after the next one. So,
but yeah, going straight up on the shelf, worth the read every time for sure.
Okay, and we'll end on a super positive note. How about you, Stefan? Fucking
hated it.
Bert, yeah, fucking hated it, man. This is we started off on a good thing here with the trench. Okay, I was totally on board except for the first initial pages in there because the whole Aquaman sitting in a diner, that whole thing was goofy. But anyway, the trench itself, the story, I loved that. If you guys haven't listened to that episode already or whatever, I don't even know what order we're releasing these in. I assume that one's coming first, Mike, right?
What is?
The trench.
Oh, yeah. Trench.
This will be released later.
Yeah, so if you've listened to that one, then you already know I love that. Just the idea of adding more interesting things to the ocean and learning more about Atlantis are the things that I kind of want from an Aquaman comic. I get that he's cool in the New 52 and he's edgy and he's got all these awesome powers and he can take on Wonder Woman and Superman. That stuff's kind of cool, but I want to learn about the ocean. Those are the things that interest me about Aquaman, to be honest. It's so weird.
If you want to read the next story arc, that does explain a lot of Atlantis' past.
Yeah, Atlantis' past, and even his lineage or something.
I can tell you,
dude, read the Dead King.
Yeah.
Sorry, you'll get your explanation.
I'm sure. See, that's the thing, though. But judging just off this trade by itself, I wouldn't put it on my shelf because it's just I felt like it should have gone on longer and there should have been more drama between him and Orm. I actually do like Orm and I like his costume too. I think it looks badass.
Right.
And some of the the covers to these issues too look badass and they have Orm on them. But like the actual drama between the brothers, I felt like it didn't feel like two brothers arguing. It just felt like some dude who used to be king and now this dude who is king. I don't know. It just didn't feel like there was something there, like a family bonding of any kind. So I
want to say there's a little bit in the arc before this, but maybe I'm remembering incorrectly.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't learn enough about Atlantis. Like I felt like I should have learned more about like how their battle stuff works. Like I don't know. I just wish it was longer. Like it felt condensed to me.
It was condensed.
It was, and it once it picks up, the action starts, it's over. It really is.
Yeah, and then it's just boom boom bang bang. It's almost like a Michael Bay movie or something. But I know Jeff Johns wrote this.
No.
I know.
Yeah, we
Jeff
all know
Johns,
how that ends.
Yeah, he's never been one of my favorite writers. Oddly, yeah, and he's written. Wow. I think he's written kind of everything. But
I like him, especially with Justice League. I think he did a really good job with Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there's not stuff I don't like of his, but like he's not one of my favorites. I don't think he's consistently good like some other people, but I don't like most of his ideas. But he's in this thing, like the way he started it with Aquaman, I appreciate it. But this actual volume by itself, yeah, I'm not putting it on the shelf. It's going in the box. Okay. Those are my final thoughts.
Not what not what I expected. Okay, yeah. I'll respect it.
Yeah, I see your argument, sir. I will respect it.
Alrighty.
I'm still gonna.
That about wraps it up. That's all. But you know, maybe he's just upset because Aquaman wouldn't let him bum a beer off him. Maybe that's why he's upset with this book.
That's probably it.
I mean, because it's very normal to go into. It's very normal to go inside a place of business and go, man, I just want to bum a beer off you. It'd be okay, right? If I just steal a beer, you won't call the cops to chase after me. It'd be okay, right? Like, I think that about wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening to another comic episode of Cave My Mom Found. I'm not sure what we're gonna do next. We have some ideas. Actually, I do know what we're gonna do next, but I don't know if I want to announce it. I'm not sure how this is gonna be published anymore. Aquaman, that's for sure. I want to give an awesome shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Balby, aka Mike Stoney, from his EP Bite the Bullet, songs The Cool Kid Squad. I've said that so many times at this point. You will see a link in the show notes for his YouTube video, for his YouTube channel, so definitely check him out. He always appreciates it. And keep listening to these. I mean, we do these once a month. We're planning to do more once life cools down and we're not going crazy and wondering where our toilet paper is gonna come from. Once all that's calmed down, we do have plans to do more. So stay tuned. And we will see you guys. Keep listening to our regular episode. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to wash your hands. Don't touch your face, and don't touch anybody else's face unless it's JD's.
Unless it's your Aqua Dog.
You can pet Aqua Dog. Aqua Dog can't get it. Okay, bye, everybody.